Artists and illusionists, step onto the stage of your imagination where your pencil is the wand and shading is the trick. With each stroke, lines transform, depth emerges, and light and shadow bring your drawings to life. Get ready to create magic one shade at a time. In our last lesson, we discovered how every object in art can be broken down into simple geometric and organic shapes. Using line, we gave them structure. But an outline alone isn't enough. To create depth and dimension, we need value to bring our drawings to life with light and shadow. First, you'll create value scales, practicing smooth transitions from light to dark with different shading techniques. Next, you'll apply these skills to shade a circle to create a sphere. And finally, you'll put your shading skills to the test by creating a simple object value drawing using 5 distinct values. Before we begin, let's make sure you have your tools. You'll need your guided notes, a pencil, a blending stump or paper towel, a black marker, and an eraser. Whenever you see bolded words on the screen, be sure to write them in your guided notes. Let the magic begin! One of the most powerful tools an artist has to create depth in their work is value. Value refers to the lightness or darkness of a color or shade. Artists can practice value by using value scales, which show a smooth transition from light to dark values. This allows artists to refine their shading techniques and develop better control over pencil pressure. This is key to creating depth, the illusion of space and dimension that makes drawings look more realistic. To build strong shading skills, you'll need to learn mark-making techniques that artists often use to create value: hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, and blending. Let's take a moment to break these techniques down. Hatching uses short, straight lines to create value. Closer lines make darker values, while more spaced out lines create lighter values. Artists use hatching lines to build up value and texture quickly. Cross-hatching creates value by layering crisscrossing lines. More layers mean darker values. These lines add more depth and darker values than hatching alone. Stippling creates values with small dots. More dots for darker values, fewer for lighter values. Dots create subtle gradations and soft textures with a controlled, detailed look. When stippling, it is recommended to use a marker instead of a pencil to avoid hand tiredness. Blending is a smooth transition from light to dark to create seamless shading. Smooth transitions between values give a realistic and polished appearance. Let's practice these shading techniques. In your guided notes, you'll create value scales for each technique. Start by applying light pressure with your pencil, then gradually increase pressure to build darker values. Focus on creating smooth transitions and controlling your pressure. Pause the video here to practice. Great job! Now let's turn flat shapes into realistic forms by understanding 5 key light and shadow elements: highlight, form shadow, core shadow, reflected light, and cast shadow. Let's examine a sphere to see these elements in action. The highlight is the brightest spot on an object, showing where the light is hitting directly. On our value scale, this would be value number 1. On this sphere, the highlight is on the top left, identifying the direction of the light source. As we move away from the highlight on the sphere, the shading gradually gets darker. These are form shadows, the shadow areas where the object moves away from the light source. The values are usually light to medium gray, numbered 2 through 4 on our value scale. On this sphere, the form shadow is seen in between the highlight and the core shadow. Next is the core shadow. This is the darkest part of the object where no direct light reaches, best identified as value 5 on our value scale. On this sphere, the core shadow is the darkest value, in between the form shadow and the reflected light. Now we have reflected light. This is a small, soft glow that happens when light bounces off nearby surfaces and reflects back onto the object. This value is in between values 1 and 2 on our value scale. On this sphere, you can see the reflected light between the form shadow and the cast shadow. And finally, we have the cast shadow. This is the shadow an object creates on the surface beneath it, making it look like it's really sitting in space. The sphere's cast shadow is directly opposite the light source, fading from dark to light, showcasing all 5 values. Now it's your turn to bring shapes to life. For this exercise, your goal is to turn each circle into a sphere by using each mark-making shading technique. Grab your pencil, have your value scale handy, and start shading to turn these circles into realistic spheres. Remember, when stippling, use a marker instead of a pencil. Pause the video here while you practice. Awesome work! You've been building your skills in value and shading, and now it's time for your final challenge. Today, we'll bring everything together to create a simple object value drawing using a mark-making shading technique of your choice. In just a moment, our art teacher, Kayla, will begin our step-by-step demonstration on how to bring a simple object value drawing to life. Take it away, Kayla.
Thanks, Caroline. Now today, we'll be putting our value and shading skills to the test by creating a simple object value drawing. Now before I begin, I'll need the following materials: my completed planning sheet, a piece of white drawing paper, an HB or number 2 pencil, a blending tool, an eraser, a simple object, and a good light source. Now my simple object is my favorite mug. When choosing your simple object, I would suggest choosing an object that is smooth, has clear shape, and can be simplified into a geometric form, like a vase, a box, or even a baseball. I want to set up my mug in a good location with a bright light source. Now I like this position best, so now I can begin sketching. First, I'm lightly sketching the shape of my mug. I'm not pressing too hard, just a soft outline so I can adjust if needed. Next, I'm marking where my light source is with a small arrow. This will help me place highlights and shadows correctly. I'm also sketching the cast shadow, keeping in mind that this will sit slightly off to the opposite side of the light source. And the shape of the shadow will depend on where my light source is. And now it's time to build up these values. So I'm going to be using blending as my mark-making shading technique. I always want to start with the lightest areas first, leaving my highlight completely white. Since the highlight is the brightest spot, I'm not going to be shading over it at all. Now when I'm blending, it's important to start light and add those darker values as you go. Next, I'm beginning to shade the form shadow using small circular movements with my pencil. And as I move further away from the light source, I'm going to be gradually increasing the pressure on my pencil, layering the values to make them darker. I'm going to be blending these together with my paper towel to create a smooth, gradual transition. Now the core shadow, this is the darkest part of my mug. It sits near the bottom edge, opposite of the highlight. So here I'm carefully adding the shadow by layering light values and blending. Next, I'm working on the cast shadow. Now remember, shadows aren't just one flat value. they're made up of all the values in our value scale, and they fade out gradually. And the darkest part of my cast shadow will always be closest to your object. So in this case, the base of my mug, right where the mug touches the table. I'm shading this area a little bit darker while making sure I leave a small gap for that reflected light. Now for the reflected light, I can always erase this to make it stand out more. The key is you don't want to erase too much so that it's as bright as the highlight. You want it just enough that it's in between the highlight and in between the form shadow values. And as I move away from the mug, I'm softening the edges of the cast shadow by using less pressure on my pencil and continuing to blend. Now, before I say I'm done, I need to step back and check my work. Here are a few questions I ask myself. Do I have 5 distinct values from the brightest highlights to the darkest shadows? Are my shading transitions smooth and gradual, so no harsh lines between light and dark? Does my cast shadow fade naturally? And what adjustments can I make if there are any? So now I'm going to take a moment to make any small adjustments based on what I notice. And just like that, I've made a simple object value drawing. Now, when it's your turn to create, take your time, build your values gradually, and don't forget to step back and make adjustments.
Incredible work! Let's review what we learned today. First, you mastered the value scale, learning to smoothly transition from light to dark with different mark-making techniques. Then you applied those techniques on a sphere to create depth. And finally, you saw how mark-making shading techniques can transform a simple object into a value drawing. Now it's your turn to bring the magic of shading to life. Grab your pencil and apply what you've learned today to create your simple object value scale drawing. Check out your planning sheet for extra tips and tricks. Remember to stay curious, keep creating, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, hey.